Hi, so today we'll be discussing about the trend of paper 2 of history optional for 2023. There were major changes which were done by the UPSC as UPSC does every year. But we have to make sure that we incorporate these changes in our understanding and as well as do answer writing as per the trend. So let us try to understand them very quickly. Number one, if I see the question from peasant and tribal movement in the modern India section, they were huge. 3 questions were there. One question was directly about the peasant movement and their character after 1857. One question was with respect to Indigo revolt. And third, the overall importance or the significance of the tribal revolt as well as the peasant movement. I have never seen 3 questions in a single paper. Overall, if you see the number of questions from modern India, सिर्फ 14 question होंगे, ठीक है ना? 5 are the compulsory and 9 are the question number 2, 3, 4. If you overall combine the number of questions, 3 questions are only coming from one topic of subaltern. Same kind of trend could be seen even in the paper 1, where the question was asked about the status of women. So please make sure when you are preparing modern India, this is going to be very important thing for the coming times, because whenever UPSC starts with one trend, it keeps on repeating it at least for 2-3 years, then it will change suddenly. Next, the number of questions on economy again were on the higher side. Normally only one question comes from the economic exploitation of India by the British, but here they talked about the commercialization. Even the question with respect to the Indian artisan production, that do you think that the decline of the handicraft in India was inevitable? Now, these 2 questions are more or less debate specific questions, and you have to make sure that you understand about the historians and eventually present them in the answer itself. Like here, this is the comment of Maurice D. Morris, who is one of the personality who says that everywhere the industrial revolution has happened, handicraft is bound to decline. But in India, it was a forced process. And even more importantly, that you have to understand, India's handicraft declined, but it was not substantiated eventually by the rise of industries. Indians suffered. There was ruralization of Indian economy because of British. But you have to understand the overall debate. Then if we see 18th century has become very relevant. If we see even in paper 1, paper 2, overall 5 questions have come from 18th century, so 8th century. And there is a very famous debate that 18th century is a very long century, because lots of transition are there. We see the decline of the Mughals, rise of Marathas, then the rise of the British, and then eventually they are able to take care of the rest of the Indian states. So it's a very long century. So many transitions are there in the 18th century. Lots of invasion from Nadir Shah as well as Ahmad Shah Abdali. So many questions UPSC has asked from this one specific century this time around. So make sure that you prepare 18th century very well for the sake of paper 1 as well as paper 2. Here they have combined all the wars, Carnatic, Anglo-Mysore, Anglo-Maratha war, etc., and how it led to the decline of the French. Then 2 10-marker questions were asked on Gandhiji. One was a very straightforward question about the circumstances. Okay, but the second question, which talks about civil disobedience movement, it is a debate specific question, that was he looking for a specific kind of formula which can help? Was he desperate for that formula that could work in the fight against the British? So it's a debate specific question. You cannot write very singular linear kind of answer for this. So this question on Gandhiji has continued. Then if we see, personality specific questions have declined drastically in the social reform. So they have overall asked universalist perspective of the social religious reform movement. Then even question has come on press. And finally, if we see left within the Congress Socialist Party, this is from where UPSC is asking question. Previously they used to ask a lot of question on moderate year after year, but now they're asking about other aspects of the Congress party. So Congress Socialist Party was asked about this time around. And finally, if I see the trend of modern India, only one 10-marker question came from post independence, and even this question was very difficult to attempt. Plus, it was sourced from the current affairs. In current affairs in Hyderabad, there was in 2022, there was a conference with respect to protect the interest of the Dalit class. And they specifically asked a question from history on the same specific topic. So, current affairs can be a bit relevant in paper 2, and that too in post-independence part. So, keep that in mind. Alright, please keep that. If I see modern world, so in modern world, some areas every year one question is given, like one question on French Revolution, one on Marxism or socialism, one on enlightenment, and all these 3 questions were straightforward. They were directly sourced from PYQ. So if I say comparison of modern India or world history, which one was relatively easy? So world history was relatively on the easier side. Similarly, if we see the question on American War of Independence, 1848 revolution, as well as unification of Italy, Treaty of Versailles, very basic level questions you can get very easily in world history. So it means the amount of output that you will get from world history is always going to be more than modern India. इसको हमेशा ध्यान रखो. Majority of the toppers, they have become toppers by writing 2 answers from world history, and this is the reason. Finally, when we talk about industrial revolution, this time around they have talked more about the theory part of industrial revolution, the writings which we can see of Adam Smith, Thomas Malthus, as well as Jeremy Bentham. Some of the people like Thomas Malthus, you may not read about them in world history, but if you study society very carefully, okay, in society you'll see a specific theory is given by him with respect to population, and even criticism has been done in the NCERT itself. देखो अच्छे से अगर सब्जेक्ट NCERT के भी पढ़ोगे तो कभी कभार वो आपको कहाँ हेल्प करने वाले हैं, you will never know. So always try to be thorough with other subjects. They also help you in understanding some of the aspect of history. Then direct question on any country of Southeast Asia did not come this time around. Like Vietnam पे question आता है, sometimes from Indonesia, sometimes from Laos, Cambodia, etc. That is merged along with this. But this time around, majority of the questions, they were directly on the whole Southeast Asia. You can give various examples of Philippines, Indonesia, Vietnam in this specific question. So please remember this. If you see the overall imperialism and colonialism, this theme is very important for world history. You can see the question of British imperialism in South Africa, then anti-colonial movement in South Asia, which we have just discussed, and even Arab nationalism. So imperialism and colonialism is something जो आपको बहुत अच्छे से प्रिपेयर करना है, and this is the area where the world history part becomes very difficult, because majority of these questions are coming for the first time. They are not repeat questions. The initial standard topic, they may get repeated, but these areas are not getting repeated. So the major important announcement is that we are coming up with a 7-day overall workshop which is going to help you out in your history optional preparation. 3 specific would be the strategy classes. The first class would be with respect to mapping, okay, because mapping, as all of us know, was very difficult in 23 and we have to come up with some kind of solution for that. Paper 1, paper 2 as a whole, we have to see the theory part so that you can create a strategy for the 500 marks. And finally, in the next 4 session, we'll be specifically talking about the master classing in ancient India, medieval, modern and world. What would be the specific part where you need to focus more, so that eventually you can get maximum marks next year. Even if you start preparing for 25, 26, please try to understand all this, because those of the students who prepare very early, because selection bhi jaldi hota hai, and you require a personality who can help you out in this kind of an endeavor. When we were starting, YouTube was not that much famous and it was very difficult to get very good guidance. When today's time, YouTube अच्छा खासा grow कर चुका है and it's easy if you follow somebody who can help you out technically in your optional, and that is something which I can easily do. Having got one of the highest marks in the history optional, alright, I can easily do that for you. You can register in the form. We will be sharing some strategic documents with respect to specifically addition of the questions of 2023. So that all of this you'll get a call from the mentor and for the basic screening process. Then we have produced result in last few years. Very drastic changes could be seen in these students. Many of them were not able to get rank for 3 to 4 years, but when they started learning in the right spirit, in the right manner, with right quality of notes and the understanding of answer writing, they break into the top 100 rank. That is something which we have done in last few years. This is the mark sheet of various toppers, including me from 2018, who scored more than 300 marks, and you can also do so. It's not like it's not possible. Every year you'll see the graph कि हर साल 300 के आसपास स्कोर आया है, and if you're going to get 300 marks, eventually आपकी एक अच्छी रैंक निकल के आएगी and you can get the desired service which you want. As all of us can understand, everybody desire for the top 2, top 3 services, and this is how it works eventually. Alright, so if you have any kind of query with respect to civil services preparation, history optional, you can use these 2 numbers and get into touch with our mentors. And finally, you can subscribe to this YouTube channel also. So eventually, koi bhi aapko requirement hogi, that can be fulfilled in the due course. So all the very best participate in these sessions. Okay, make sure you understand the process of becoming a topper, because if you're not going to understand it, eventually you'll be working hard but result will not come along with it. So make sure you do the same, and I'll see you in the classes. All the very best.